I've got all of the details for the very first beta patch to come to the Overwatch 2 beta. We've got nerfs for Soldier 76, Sombra, Zarya, and Lucio. But then we've got a bunch of buffs for Sojourn, Roadhog, Winston, Ball, Baptiste, Zen, Brig, and Anna's primary fire also gets buffed, although she gets her grenade nerfed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa, and I'm going to go into detail on all of these changes. And some of these changes are, quite frankly, the best changes I have ever seen in patch notes. They're very elegant fixes to some of the issues that we've been seeing in the beta. Let's begin with the bug fixes. So general fixes are: fix the bug where the thank you for reporting message would not clear. Fix the bug where the names in the friends list would appear alphabetically regardless of game status. Fix the bug where heroes that killed themselves would show incorrectly in the kill feed. Fix the bug where health packs would sometimes be missing timers. Fix the bug where Reaper would sometimes be auto-selected on hero select. Fix the bug where the control progress bar would sometimes be the wrong color. Made several adjustments to sound and volume mix, and fixed several crashes. So the good news there is, hopefully they've maybe toned down the audio mix of the weapon sounds. They sound great in Overwatch 2, but that's all you hear. It's like, what the hell? It's like you're in an actual war zone, especially if you play loads of Soldier 76, which I do. The rifle sounds awesome, the pulse rifle, but oh my god, it takes over the map. It's amazing. Tune in May the 5th to the 8th on the Overwatch League YouTube channel to kick off opening weekend for the season. This 5th season is a new chapter in Overwatch League history with Overwatch 2 PvP gameplay. Yes, that means hero reworks, Sojourn, the new game mode push, they're all coming to Overwatch League, and I cannot wait to see how the pros play in this new beautiful world of Overwatch 2. But not only that, on opening weekend, they are distributing 1,500 Overwatch 2 PvP beta codes during each hour of the Overwatch League broadcast, beginning at 12 PM PT each day. You must watch 1 hour of the broadcast to be eligible, and you're only eligible for drops at the end of any hour you watch. Now, you must link your Battle.net accounts. English, French, and Korean broadcasts are all eligible. You can tune into the Overwatch League YouTube channel and earn in-game rewards, so you can earn League tokens, you can earn sprays featuring team mascots during select events this season, and for tournament rewards, select Overwatch League grey skins as well as extra League tokens on select match days. Now, all you need to do to earn these rewards is on the Overwatch League YouTube channel, you can click on the rewards button below the live stream and then follow the prompts. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited for Overwatch League this year. It's a completely new game. It's 5v5. It's Overwatch 2. I cannot wait to see what happens. I think there's going to be some massive things coming this season. Think about it, new heroes being added, all that stuff. I'm so excited. I just cannot wait. All right, guys, let's get on with the video. So moving on to hero-specific bug fixes. Wrecking Ball. Fix the bug where Wrecking Ball could crash other players. Yes, this was quite bad. You could basically look at the ground and slam into the ground, and it would essentially cause the entire server to crash, apart from Wrecking Ball. So you'd stay in the game, but everybody else would get disconnected. This is why he was removed from the beta, and he will not be playable in the Overwatch 2 League. Can we call it that now? Anyway, that goes out today. Doomfist. Fix the bug where melee attacks would not deal damage to the Doomfist during power block. Roadhog. Fix the bug where Roadhog's hook cooldown would start on return instead of cast. Soldier 76. Fix the bug where Soldier's heavy pulse rifle might snap awkwardly during tactical visor. Fix the bug where Soldier 76 would have a slanted UI when wearing his ugly sweater skin. Now, that was kind of a funny bug, I will admit. Symmetra. Fix the bug where shooting Symmetra's turrets into the horizon would cause turrets to be unusable. Hanzo. Fix the bug where Hanzo's white wolf skin would appear invisible. Brig. Fix the bug where Brig's shield did not block damage from above. Anna. Fix the bug where using Nano Boost on Doomfist would overwrite his damage reduction. Lucio. Fix the bug where Sonic Amplifier could jam and not reload. Next up, we've got some map changes. These are only minimal, so it'll take 2 seconds to go over. Midtown. Adjusted some geometry on top of the train to prevent players from staying there indefinitely. Colosseo adjusted some geometry that could be abused by players. Okay, let's move on to the balance changes for the heroes. Now, firstly, we're going to talk about Sojourn, who gets a rather meaty buff. So Sojourn's Railgun Ult Fire projectile width increased from 0.05 meters to 0.1 meters. This will mean it's easier to land hits with the railgun. Power Slide cooldown reduced from 7 to 6 seconds. This means you have got more mobility. Now, before we get onto the dev comments here, this is really interesting to me. In fact, this is super interesting because in the alpha, I think it was zero point 0.1 meters to begin with, the railgun size, and everybody was killing everybody with the railgun. And the feedback from the alpha was, this is too easy to hit. You need to reduce the size of this, and so they did. Now, I would wonder that this is probably what happens when you take feedback from higher-end players. Now, I'm not an amazing player. Okay, you know, I'm probably at Masters level now if I'm lucky, but yeah, okay, that's better than the average player. But the majority of players were pros from Overwatch League, high-end streamers who were top 500 and stuff like that. Yeah, it was too easy. So maybe that kind of feedback results in a change that then makes Sojourn really terrible for the rest of the player base. And it's always this delicate balance that Blizzard have to strike. Anyway, the dev comments on this are, we saw a lot of players at varying skill levels struggling to land shots with her alt fire, so we're making the projectile width wider. Sojourn is all about mobility, and we wanted her to move around the maps more freely. We think this will help increase her effectiveness and make her even more fun to play. And I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. She did need a buff because Sojourn was getting outdone by a lot of other DPS, even by better players. You know, you would just play Soldier 76 because you get more value. Talking of Soldier 76, let's move on to his nerfs. Now, he needed to be nerfed because he was absolutely out of control. So heavy pulse rifle damage has been reduced from 20 to 18. Now, I thought they'd go for 19, not 18. 18 is actually quite a substantial nerf to Soldier because you've got to think this is per shot. That's actually a pretty big nerf when you consider his entire magazine being expended on a target. That's a pretty heavy nerf. And he does need this because his damage was getting absolutely outrageous. Sprint, movement speed reduced from 50 to 40%. Now, you've got to remember, he gets the 10% roll passive through DPS moving quicker. So he is still 50% in total when you add that back. But before, he was 60%, which was really quite strong. So you had a hero that could heal himself, did a ton of damage, and was excellent at flanking. It was very self-sufficient. And then his ultimate was crazy. But this ultimate change possibly is one of the most elegant changes I've seen for a while coming out of the Overwatch team. So Tactical Visor now allows for critical hits if a shot would have been a critical hit without it running. No longer removes damage fall off from his heavy pulse rifle. Now, the second point there is easy to understand. You now have damage fall off with the ultimate, so you can't pop the ultimate and abuse the massive range of it, because obviously it is like range unlimited effectively, and you just spraying away like on Circuit Royale on the high ground on the first point. When you're sort of chilling there as Soldier, you just tack visoring everybody. It's so powerful. And there's loads of other examples where it was mega powerful. But now you've got damage fall off, so it won't be as effective at targets at range. You're going to have to be within Soldier's effective range to make it work. But the other thing that I like, and I think this is really cool, because when you look at Sojourn's ultimate, she pops overclock. Yeah, it just charges a railgun. She still needs to land the shots. Soldier just presses a button and then just kills everyone. But now, though, I'll read this again. So it says, now allows for critical hits if a shot would have been a critical hit without it running. I think this means you can aim during tac visor. So when tac visor is active, if you're still aiming at targets and firing, if you're aiming at their head, it will do critical damage. But if you miss their head, it will just do normal damage on them. That is really funky. That's an actual really funky change. That is. So I quite like these Soldier changes. I think they're really good. Now, the dev comments on this are as follows. We believe Soldier 76 was overtuned during the first week of the PvP beta. He was extremely mobile with the new damage passive that increases movement speed by 10%. We brought his sprint ability down a bit with the new passive in mind. Soldier 76 has always been a high damage output hero, but we are seeing fewer counters to him with one less tank per team. We lowered the damage of his heavy pulse rifle to fit with 5v5. We wanted to make Tactical Visor a more interesting ultimate for players who want to push their aim skills through the ability. The point of this change isn't purely to buff him or counterbalance the nerfs. We wanted to make Soldier 76 a more fun hero to play while rewarding mechanical skill. I like it. I think these changes are actually really cool for Soldier. But there's an awesome change coming a bit later on in the video, and it's the Zen. If you want to skip to the Zen section, just go ahead and do it now, because it's a really cool change to Zen. Next up, we've got Sombra. Now, Sombra sees a nerf, so stealth movement speed has been reduced from 65 to 50%. Now, again, remember, she still gets the 10% movement speed, and the dev comments say, after a week of testing from the new damage passive, we decided to balance Sombra's stealth speed with a 10% movement speed increase in mind. So, yeah, you know, this is just a sort of retuning of her movement, because obviously, like, Sombra was super fast when she was in Viz running around. Soldier was super fast sprinting. makes them very easy to flank and get into position. So yeah, these were definitely needed changes to their movement speed. Next up, we move into the tanks, and Roadhog gets a very interesting and also a super elegant buff. So check this out. Whole Hog. This ability is changed from a channeled ultimate, e.g. Pharah, Reaper, Cassidy, into a transform ultimate, e.g. Soldier 76, Genji, and Winston. This is what that means. The weapon no longer automatically fires. You must press primary fire to use the ultimate. You can use normal abilities during Whole Hog without cancelling the ultimate. Stuns no longer cancel the ultimate. This is actually really big for Hog, because obviously you pop this before, you go Whole Hog and you just get stunned, and then it ends, or Orisa throws a spear into you and it ends, or you just don't do anything because you can't, or you desperately need to heal. That's always the thing that gets you. It's like, well, it'd be great if I could take a breather right now as I'm taking loads of damage. You couldn't do it, but now you can, and that's actually really cool. So the dev comment on this says, we saw Roadhog underperforming, so we are making his ultimate more interesting, effective, and fun. Roadhog was dying frequently while using Whole Hog, so we are trying to give him more options and flexibility in his ult. I like this change. It's cool. Whether it'll be enough to make Roadhog better than like literal like bottom tier for tanks, I don't know, but it's a step in the right direction. Winston, Tesla Cannon, secondary fire ammo cost reduced from 20 to 12. Now that's a big buff for the secondary fire. And the dev comments are, this change to Winston's secondary fire enables him to use it more often without sacrificing as much of his primary fire. We want his secondary fire to feel less restrictive and to use more fluid and to feel more more fluid to use like his kit. Yeah. This is cool, right? So I don't know about Winston. Like, so Winston is a bit of a, I don't want to say he's a sleeper, but Winston is much stronger than we initially thought. But the problem with Winston is his tank rework, which is giving him this alternate fire. It kind of doesn't feel that great anyway. I just wish they gave him something else. Like on paper, it sounds kind of cool, having like a bit of a ranged attack on a hero that has no ranged attack. But I don't know about Winston. Like it's Wrecking Ball roll knockback increased by 36%. The dev comments here are, we are reverting roll's knockback to the original value from when Wrecking Ball was launched. We wanted to give Wrecking Ball a more unique role as a dive tank that can split up enemy teams. We made this change with the tank passive of 30% knockback resistance in mind. Now, I think this is a response to Doomfist, because Doomfist is an absolutely incredible tank at the moment because he can disrupt entire enemy teams. It is so powerful. But one thing we are noticing is teams don't generally play together in a group, in a ball, I guess you could say, in a big group. So it's still hard for Doomfist to go in and knock them all over the place. Maybe we'll see metas develop where teams start grouping up more in the future, but at the moment that's not really the case. But Doomfist is just a better Wrecking Ball, so giving Wrecking Ball more knockback gives him more sort of power in line with Doomfist's charged up punch. So I think it's basically a reaction to that. Will this be enough to make Wrecking Ball super good? I don't know, but it's a step in the right direction, and probably Doomfist is still going to be better than Wrecking Ball at the moment. Zarya, Graviton Surge. Now the duration has been reduced from 4 to 3.5 seconds. So a little bit of a nerf here. And the dev comments are, there are less counters to Graviton Surge with one less tank per team, and phase effects no longer escaping Zarya's ultimate. We observed the ultimate overperforming, so this change brings it in line with 5v5 gameplay. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really have much to say about that, to be honest. Okay, let's move on to the supports and all of the Lucio mains in the chat. Oh dear, can we get a rip in the chat? So Lucio gets a pretty considerable nerf. And we're going to need to see how this plays out because it is quite heavy. So crossfade, self-healing penalty increased from 30 to 60%. And the dev comment says, Lucio had incredible survivability with crossfade stacked with a new support role passive. So he reduced the amount it heals himself. Now, what would happen with Lucio is when you've got your heal song on and you're out of combat for 1 second, so you literally don't take damage for 1 second, your passive would kick in and you'll start healing yourself, which I believe is 15 health per second, which is quite good, especially if you're Lucio and you're healing yourself as well. It's stacked and it was stupid. The thing is, though, Lucio, I think I've started to notice, and this actually is a pretty good tip for Lucio, is you could just stay on speed, because speed makes you harder to hit anyway. And yeah, you would kick in the roll passive and start healing yourself anyway as you're speeding around. And that's still super effective. So while you just get a massive nerf to his survivability when he's got his healing song on, actually you can still use the speed song and heal yourself because the roll passive still kicks in. So Lucio is still pretty strong. I mean, he's still probably S tier support. Oh, in fact, yeah, he is. He's still an S tier support. He's incredible. Ana, Biotic Rifle. Ammo increased from 12 to 15. So if you're an Ana player like me, you're like, oh baby, let's go. They're just buffing me. I'm loving this. But then Biotic Grenade, duration reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. Okay. And the dev comments here say, Ana's Biotic Grenade was too effective with one less tank and more infrequent barriers. So we are reducing the duration of the ability. We also saw Ana using her grenade less frequently on herself because of the new support passive ability. To help compensate for her grenade, we wanted to give her power back through increasing her Biotic Rifle's ammo. I like this because it is very easy to land grenades in Overwatch 2. 3 seconds, though, of no healing on the enemy team is still enough time to kill them. I mean, that's a long time in Overwatch. You land a fat nade and your team go in, there's going to be deaths. So I think that's fine. Maybe that needs to be more. Maybe that needs to be 2 seconds. But that might be a bit ridiculous if it's 2. But 3... yeah, I still feel like Ana's going to be really strong with this. And then just giving her more ammo just makes her stronger anyway. Because Ana has been really powerful as, well, let's say supports in Overwatch 2 are kind of, they support the team. It isn't strictly I'm a healer and all I do is heal. It's no, I can heal and then shoot the enemy. And Ana is very strong at that anyway, especially if you take up ranged positions. Because if you take a bit of poke damage or chip damage at range, you can just hide for a second and it kicks in your roll passive and you start healing yourself anyway. Then you pop out again with full health. Really strong. And now you've got more ammo. So they've just made us stronger. Like, which, I don't know, like this, it's a nerf, but I think overall this is probably a buff. Can I say this is a buff to Ana? I think it might be. Woo. Baptiste. So his biotic launcher, the healing ammo is increased from 10 to 13. And the dev comments on this are, Baptiste is underperforming because teams aren't playing as grouped up right now. Increasing his healing ammo will let him heal more targets who aren't necessarily grouped up. And this is why Baptiste isn't as strong as Ana at the moment. He relies on teams playing together. But what I will say about Baptiste, and again, I said this in my support tips video, if you've got Reinhardt, if you've got Orisa or immobile tanks, yeah, or even a Zarya, he's really good for that because you can really keep those alive by pumping heals into them. The problem is Ana can also do that, and then Ana can also reliably heal everybody else if she can, well, aim to some degree. So, yeah, I still think he suffers compared to Ana. I still think Ana is a better pick. But this is a step in the right direction. You've now got, well, 3 more shots before you need to reload on your biotic launcher. So, good stuff. Now, this is the one everybody has been waiting for. This is the Zenyatta change, and it's so good. So, base shields increased from 150 to 175. So, we're like, cool, Zen is tankier now. We like that. He can take a bit more damage. But then this is the real one, and this is just crazy. Like, this is totally out of left field. New passive added, Snap Kick. This passive increases quick melee's damage by 50%, and significantly increases its knockback. Hello? Hello? Zen has now got the best melee in the game. By far. And it knocks you back. And the dev comments say, Zenyatta has trouble fighting at close range, and he was at a disadvantage if an enemy flanked or jumped on top of him. His new passive, Snap Kick, will help him create space and put enemies at his fighting range. Oh, so you'll be able to kick them back and then shoot them. That is mental. We think this new passive will be a fun adjustment to his kit, but we also want this to change, to acknowledge... hang on a minute, let me read that again. We think this new passive will be a fun adjustment to his kit, but we also want this change to acknowledge community concerns. We understand 5v5 has made support heroes feel more vulnerable, and we wanted to give Zenyatta tools to help create space between him and his enemies. It's really cool. I can't wait to try this. This is really cool. I bet you can just kick people off the map as well. Zen, like the environmental killer. Oh my god. And finally, we move on to Brig. And Brig's shield bash, the knockback, has been doubled on this. Now, the devs' comments say it's difficult to tell when Brig lands a shield bash because the impact of that ability was not easily noticeable. This is a subtle change that will make the ability feel more satisfying. So, yeah. It's going to feel better. Obviously, if you slam into someone with your shield, they're going to fly back. This, again, reinforces the whole thing I said in a recent video on the tips on support, that you basically want to use this to secure kills. Don't use this at the start of a fight. If a flank is pressuring you, don't just hit them with shield bash straight away. Try and whip them, try and slap them with primary fire, then go in for the kill with a shield bash. And I think this kind of just reinforces that. But yeah, overall, guys, this is a very good patch. I really like this patch, and apparently we're going to be getting weekly updates from the Overwatch team, and maybe we'll get another patch next week with more changes. But one thing to remember is there will not be any of these changes in Overwatch League. So if you guys are watching Overwatch League tonight or throughout the weekend, there will not be any of these changes in Overwatch League, because obviously you can't just change it on the day of the competition. That will be shockingly bad. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how pro players pick this up, but it's also going to be interesting just to see how this plays on the beta going forward. I'm particularly interested to see what happens to Ana, Soldier, and Zen, I think, and maybe even Roadhog. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa. And yeah, I will catch you lovely, lovely lot on the next video. Toodaloo.